That's the thing about this picture, is that you feel as though you're almost peering into Rembrandt's mind. It's so intimate in that sense. One of the many things that makes this such an exciting picture is the fact that he was only 22 years old when he created this small but hypnotizingly intense panel. 22, and yet the sophistication, the use of light, the sense of narrative, it's just extraordinary. Prodigy isn't the word for what Rembrandt was. When Rembrandt painted this picture, he'd never painted a portrait. As far as he was concerned, the whole of his life might well have been devoted to religious painting. And here he is, taking on one of the central themes of Christianity. This is the first time that mankind has seen its salvation in the form of Jesus Christ, and he compresses it to this tiny, quite dark panel. It's all done in this monochrome palette, probably because he was intending the composition to be realized as an etching, to reach more people, to make his name more famous. What's fascinating about the picture is that science, particularly infrared, has allowed us to see the way in which he worked on the painting, the way in which he developed it. There's an awful lot of paddling beneath the surface of the water. For a long time, we can see that he didn't really know what to do at the right-hand side of the painting. That area, he just couldn't crack it. He didn't work out what to do. And quite late on in the composition, suddenly he gets some form of stylus and he scratches into the surface. These figures, they're outside the manger, they're not inside. And he adjusts these foreground objects. The wagon wheel was already there, but he introduces the spade, which I think is a fantastic detail. Why has he taken such pains? He's even moved the wheel. We can see that from the infrareds. He's moved the wheel over. It's almost like a child doing their nativity crib, moving the figures and objects around. He's doing that, except he's doing it with a stylus. I think it's a painting that shows how ambitious Rembrandt was, even as a very young man. I mean, if you wanted simply to create an impressive religious painting for the purposes of producing an etching, there are easier ways of doing it than that, but Rembrandt makes huge difficulties for himself. The complexity of the light, the involved nature of the composition, the size of the entourage of the kings, none of that is necessary and probably not desirable if you're doing an etching. And I think what that tells us about Rembrandt is that he was one of those artists, and this is where the word genius is probably perfectly fair enough, that he's one of those artists who gets so involved in their subject that everything else disappears. Practicality, whether the picture's going to be a success or not, whether it will make him famous or not. No, he's not thinking about any of that. All he's thinking about is, how do I express the extraordinary nature of this moment? And the number of religious paintings by Rembrandt that are not already in museums, I think, can probably be counted on the fingers of one hand, perhaps less. So this is, by any account, an extremely rare rediscovery, an extremely rare thing.